Hi there, it's Matt here, and welcome back to the podcast. If you've ever struggled to fall asleep or stay asleep, maybe lying there wide awake at 3 a.m., and if you are me, your mind starts playing reruns of every awkward and embarrassing thing you've ever said or done, then you're not alone. Because today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful, practical, and scientifically proven ways to overcome insomnia. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI. And it works. Not just a little, it works for a large proportion of people who try it. And today, I'm going to try to walk you step by step through what insomnia really is, why it happens, and exactly what to do to get your sleep back on track. We'll cover 5 core strategies of CBTI: stimulus control, time in bed restriction, sleep hygiene, cognitive restructuring, and relaxation techniques. I'll keep it practical, straightforward, and science-based. No jargon, no fluff, just what works. And I'll also discuss various sleeping medications towards the end too. Let's begin with this simple truth. Insomnia is not just about not sleeping. It's about struggling to sleep despite giving yourself the chance. It can show up as trouble falling asleep, waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to fall back, or waking up way too early. And crucially, it has to be ongoing, at least a few nights a week for a few months, and it has to bother you during the day. Insomnia often starts with stress, a big life event, a medical issue, or something temporary. But the reason it sticks around is because of what we start doing to cope. We start going to bed earlier to get a head start on sleep. We lie in bed longer in the morning trying to make up for lost hours. We nap during the day. We watch TV or scroll through our phones in bed. And what that does, without us even realizing it, is train our brains to associate our beds with wakefulness. And this right here is where CBTI goes to work. CBTI is about undoing that unhelpful conditioning. It's about teaching your brain and body to once again treat the bed as a place for sleep and only for sleep. So let's walk through how we do that, starting with stimulus control. Stimulus control is about rebuilding the mental link between your bed and good sleep. Right now, your bed might be the stage for mental gymnastics, planning, worrying, replaying conversations, counting sheep, and wondering how many hours are left before your alarm goes off. What we want instead is for your brain to think bed equals sleep, nothing else. We do that with a few key rules. Only go to bed when you feel sleepy, not when you're tired, not when it's 10 p.m. and you think you should. Wait for real sleepiness, droopy eyelids, head nodding, that slow wave heaviness. Next, use your bed only for sleep and intimacy. No phones, no emails, no late night news updates, no Netflix. If you want to read or relax, do it elsewhere, like a comfy chair. Your bed should become a cue for sleep and nothing else. If you're in bed and you can't fall asleep within about 30 minutes, get out of bed. Go to another room. Do something calming in low light. Maybe read a few pages of a book. Only return to bed when you're truly sleepy, not just bored. This also applies if you wake up in the night and can't get back to sleep. Don't lie there tossing and turning. Get up, do something calming, and go back to bed only when sleepiness returns. And wake up at the same time every day. Yes, even on weekends. That regular wake-up time is your body clock's anchor. This takes discipline, but it's incredibly effective. You're rebuilding the Pavlovian connection. Bed equals sleep. You're training your brain just like we would train a dog. Repeated, consistent cues. It's not instant, but it works. In fact, stimulus control alone can yield huge improvements. Once the brain stops associating the bed with stress and frustration, sleep often returns naturally. This idea can be uncomfortable at first. Some people tell me, but Matt, I can't possibly get out of bed at 2 a.m. and read a book. I'm exhausted. And I understand that. The key here is that By continuing to lie in bed wide awake, you're reinforcing a connection between your bed and being awake. I often ask people to think of their bed like a charger for sleep. If the charger is faulty, meaning you're using it while your phone is still doing tasks, apps are open, and energy is being drained, it's not charging. You need to unplug, reset, and come back when it's ready. A partner of today's podcast is Caraway. Now, I study the neuroscience of sleep, one of the most complex biological systems that we know. Yet somehow I cannot cook an egg without creating a carbon-based archaeological artifact. And so it's fair to say that my relationship with cookware has been apply heat, forget about it, hear smoke alarm, and then apologize to wife. So when I bought Caraway cookware, I thought I would ruin it in a fortnight. But the ceramic coating is so naturally non-stick that I couldn't burn anything, not a thing. Instead, things actually started to taste rather wonderful. Eggs would just slide off and out the pan rather than welding themselves permanently onto it. It was effortlessly beautiful. The upside too is that cleanup takes 90 seconds instead of my usual 20 minutes of scrubbing penance. It's just warm water, rinse, and then you're done. Honestly, I love them. The non-toxic ceramic coating also matters too. It is third-party tested and there are no forever chemicals. That last part is really important to me. Oh, and the organizational system that they have deserves mention. Magnetic pan racks, canvas lid holders, it all makes it look like I have my kitchen skills together, which is desperately misleading, but very appreciated. Anyway, Caraway's cookware set saves you up to $190 versus buying items individually. Plus, if you visit carawayhome.com/Matt Walker, you will get an additional 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for listeners, so please just visit carawayhome.com/Matt Walker or just use Matt Walker at checkout to get that same discount. Again, that is Caraway. It is non-toxic kitchenware made modern. How to cook healthy. I love them. Now let's move to time in bed restriction. The name might sound a little harsh, but bear with me. People with insomnia often try to compensate for lost sleep by spending more time in bed. The problem is that just gives you more time to be awake and frustrated in bed, which reinforces the negative association. Instead, we restrict your time in bed to match how much sleep your body is actually producing. That creates a powerful sleep drive. You get sleepier, you fall asleep faster, and you stay asleep longer. Let's say you're currently sleeping around 5.5 hours a night, even though you're in bed for 8. We'd cut your time in bed down to about 6 hours, just a little more than your actual sleep time. We'd anchor your wake-up time, let's say 6:30 a.m., and then work backward. That means your new bedtime is 12:30 a.m. This often freaks people out at first. They think, how will I function on just 5.5 or 6 hours of sleep? But here's the science. When you finally allow yourself into bed after being up all day, your sleep pressure is high, and that helps you fall asleep quickly and stay asleep longer. Once you're consistently sleeping most of that window, we slowly expand it. Maybe add 15 minutes to your bedtime. Over time, you get more sleep, but it's solid, high-efficiency sleep, the kind that actually restores you. Sleep efficiency is a simple but powerful metric. It's the percentage of time you're actually asleep while you're in bed. For example, if you spend 8 hours in bed but only sleep 5, that's 62.5% sleep efficiency. That's quite low. Ideally, we want that number above 85%. When you reach that number, it's a sign your body is consolidating sleep. That's when we allow more time in bed. But if your efficiency drops again, we tighten the schedule. Think of it as tuning your sleep system to the most effective schedule. One of the things people often discover during this process is that they are giving themselves too much opportunity to sleep. Sleep isn't something you can catch like a fish. You create the conditions for it and then let it come. By reducing the window, you're increasing your body's drive to sleep during the time that really counts. Now let's talk about sleep hygiene. This is the lifestyle piece. It's everything that supports or sabotages your sleep without you even realizing it. First, your sleep environment. Keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and dark. Around 65 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Use blackout curtains if needed. Use white noise or earplugs if sound is an issue. Your bedroom should feel like a cave, cool, dark, quiet, and safe. Next, caffeine. You know this one already, but here's the twist. Decaf is not no caf. Some decaf coffees contain up to 30% of the caffeine of regular coffee. Caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours. That means if you have a coffee at 2 p.m., a quarter of that caffeine is still circulating in your brain at 10 p.m. So cut off caffeine by late morning. That includes coffee, tea, soda, chocolate, and energy drinks. Alcohol is another sneaky sleep disruptor. Yes, it can help you fall asleep faster, but it fragments your sleep later in the night, suppresses REM, and can lead to more awakenings. So if you do drink, keep it light and early, ideally done with by dinner. Light exposure also matters. In the morning, get bright light, natural sunlight if you can. It sets your circadian clock. In the evening, dim the lights. Use warmer tones. Avoid blue light from screens an hour before bed. If you must use devices, enable night mode or use blue light blocking glasses. Exercise helps, but not too close to bedtime. Aim for morning or afternoon workouts. And if you're hungry before bed, a light snack is okay. Just avoid heavy, spicy, or sugary meals late at night. One habit that often flies under the radar is clock watching. Checking the time repeatedly when you're struggling to sleep fuels stress. That internal dialogue kicks in. If I fall asleep now, I'll get 5 hours, now 4.5, now 4. It turns into mental math, and your brain becomes a calculator instead of a sleeper. So remove clocks from view, turn them around, or put them in a drawer. You don't need the pressure. Sleep hygiene isn't a standalone treatment for insomnia, but it supports the other CBTI techniques beautifully. It removes friction. It clears the path for your natural sleep to emerge. Now let's move to the mind. Cognitive restructuring is about catching the thoughts that fuel your insomnia and shifting them. We all have them. If I don't sleep 8 hours, I'll be useless tomorrow. If I don't fall asleep right now, I'm going to ruin this presentation. Everyone else sleeps fine. What's wrong with me? These thoughts create pressure. Pressure creates anxiety, and anxiety is the enemy of sleep. So we question the thought. Is it true? Is it always true? Haven't you gotten through days on less sleep before? Then we reframe it. Instead of, I must sleep 8 hours or I'll fall apart, try, I'd prefer 8 hours, but I can function on 6 if I need to. My body will catch up. Try writing these thoughts down. Use a column format: thought, evidence for, evidence against, balanced thought. Over time, this process teaches your brain to approach sleep with less fear and more realism. You're reducing catastrophizing. You're building flexibility. One powerful tool here is scheduled worry time. Pick a 15-minute window during the day, say 6 p.m., sit down with a notepad and write out your worries. Don't hold back. Get it all out. Then write possible actions or reminders next to each one. Close the notebook. You're done. Later that night, if a worry pops up, remind yourself, I already dealt with this today. I have time scheduled again tomorrow. This technique offloads nighttime rumination. It gives your mind permission to rest. Another strategy is what we call paradoxical intention. Instead of trying to fall asleep, try to stay awake. That's right. If you're lying in bed frustrated, tell yourself, I'm going to try to stay awake just a little longer. When you remove the pressure to sleep, your body often relaxes enough to let it happen. It's a funny trick, but it works because it breaks the performance anxiety around sleep. Let's round out our toolkit with relaxation techniques. Sometimes even when everything else is dialed in, your body is still wired. So we actively calm it down. Start with progressive muscle relaxation. Lie in bed, tense your feet for a few seconds, then release. Move up to your calves, thighs, abdomen, chest, arms, shoulders, and face. One by one, tighten and release. Pair this with slow breathing or try diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 or 8. Longer exhales stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system. Each breath signals safety, calm. You can also try visualization. Picture a peaceful beach, a quiet forest, floating on water, or use guided audio. Apps and videos abound. Try a few and see what works for you. These aren't about forcing sleep. They're about preparing the soil, creating the internal conditions where sleep can emerge. Even if you don't fall asleep immediately, you're reducing arousal. You're breaking the cycle of frustration.
So for, it must be at least a decade now, I have been an avid, probably more like rabid consumer of protein shakes. But the hard thing, honestly, in the supplement space, if you really understand and do your diligence, is this critical thing called trust. It is very hard to find a brand that you can truly trust. That's when I came across the company Puri and the really impressive founder. Even though I'm sure it makes them less profit versus other quick and loose companies, Puri takes quality more seriously than any company I've ever seen before. They have so many offerings, protein powders galore, but lots of other additions. But that's what I was focusing on here. Why did I choose them? Well, it's really for 4 specific reasons. Number 1, they are free from hormones. Number 2, they are free from GMOs. Number 3, they are free of any pesticides. And number 4, and this is the critical confidence part, every single batch is third-party tested for over 200 harmful contaminants, things like heavy metals, etc. All you have to do if you are a neurotic nerd like me, you can even scan the QRI code on the back of the product to get the third-party independent laboratory test results. That's how much trust and confidence they place in their product. By the way, if you want a recommendation, go for the dark chocolate flavored protein powder. It's just exceptional. In fact, it's wonderfully addictive. I didn't just say that. Anyway, it delivers 21 grams of protein per serving. And for folks of my podcast right now, you can save 20%. So go over to puri.com/Matt Walker, and that is spelled PUORI.com, Matt Walker. So again, that is PUORI.com/Matt Walker, and you will get 20% off your product.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to acknowledge something important. While CBTI is always the first line recommended treatment, and for good reason, not everyone has access to it or wishes to engage with it. Many of these individuals may seek medication. So while reinforcing that CBTI remains the first and best approach, it would be remiss of me not to briefly discuss common sleep medications. And of course, this is just me being scientifically descriptive, not medically prescriptive. Always consult your doctor. Historically, the most commonly prescribed sleep medications are the Z drugs, such as Zolpidem, Ambien, Zaleplon, Sonata, and Esopiclone, Lunesta. But these have increasingly fallen out of favor, partly due to dependency risks and cognitive impairment. Newer evidence indicates these drugs can interfere with the glymphatic clearance, the brain's essential nightly housekeeping system, potentially increasing risks of neurological issues. Instead, newer options like dual orexin receptor antagonists, DORAs, such as suvorexant, Belsomra, and lemborexant, Dayvigo, are gaining preference. These drugs specifically target orexin and the brain's wake-promoting chemical signals, like gently turning down a dimmer switch rather than broadly sedating the brain. This approach better preserves natural sleep patterns with fewer side effects. Another commonly used medication is Trazodone, originally developed as an antidepressant, and in low doses, Trazodone gently supports sleep onset. It's generally safe, non-addictive, and widely used in insomnia management. Finally, for those struggling with frequent awakenings in the middle of the night, low-dose doxepin can be effective. It quietly helps maintain sleep continuity, reducing middle-of-the-night awakenings without causing daytime sedation. Again, CBTI is the gold standard and should always be the first approach you consider. Medication can be a supplementary tool when needed, but always discuss this carefully with your healthcare provider. So let's pull it all together. CBTI is powerful because it targets the roots of insomnia, the behaviors, the thoughts, the associations. It's not about sleep aids or hacks. It's about creating a system where your natural sleep can thrive again. We do that with 5 pillars: stimulus control, rebuild the association between bed and sleep. Time in bed restriction boosts sleep efficiency by aligning time in bed with actual sleep time. Sleep hygiene, optimize your environment and habits to support sleep. Cognitive restructuring, challenge the unhelpful thoughts that add pressure and fear. Relaxation helps the body and mind wind down, creating space for sleep to return. And here's the thing, it works. Most people see improvements in their sleep after just a few weeks of CBTI, but it takes commitment. It's a short-term investment for a long-term payoff. And if you stumble along the way, if you have a rough night or break one of the rules, just get back on track. This is a process, progress over perfection. Your brain hasn't forgotten how to sleep. It's just gotten some mixed signals. With CBTI, you're sending a clear message. It's safe to sleep again. And finally, we discussed several scientific data regarding medications that are often prescribed either alone or in combination with CBTI. So working with someone who is accredited to provide CBTI, you must always ask and check that one. Give it a try, start tonight, or start tomorrow morning with a new wake-up time. Keep a sleep diary, challenge your thoughts, set up your environment, and above all, trust that your body wants to sleep. Once you remove the roadblocks, sleep tends to come. Thanks for listening. I'm Matt, and I hope this helps you get the rest you need. Until next time, good night, take care, and bye for now.